Welcome to another edition of the Tiger Men's Lacrosse Report. I'm your host, Spiro Marikas, along with the head coach of the Tigers, Sean Nadlin. Coach, Tigers started CAA play on Saturday. Quite a dramatic game. Didn't go the way you wanted, but we first have to say no quitting this team as they were down 11-8 with less than a minute to go and ended up getting the game to overtime. You had to be thrilled with that part, at least.
I told them I was excited for the rally, excited to see them, stay in the fight, which, you kind of expect, but for them to make those plays to get us to overtime was impressive. To have that belief and, the want to get that done was great. Wasn't happy with the first half and let them hear that at halftime, especially with the offensive end, 2 for 19 shooting. It's not going to help us be successful. And again, we have to be much better at playing a complete game. And that's our struggle right now.
Drexel was able to pull ahead 9-3, so that's obviously not where you want to be.
Right.
What was it that allowed them to build that 6-goal advantage?
Just breakdowns. We also had some man-ups that they capitalized, or they had some man-ups that they capitalized on. They're a good offensive team, and then when you give that team a man-up advantage, that makes them that much better. A 2-minute non-releasable, minute non-releasable. So again, that put our guys in in poor positions, and they capitalized. And then we just played some poor possessions defensively that were able to get them that little bit of a cushion to 6 goals. It was frustrating because we were doing decently at the X. The first half was a little sporadic. We went down with 2 violations early, which puts us on our heels a little bit, but they helped us out in the third quarter by getting some violations early and giving us some man-up advantages as well.
You look at your defense, and we mentioned this briefly last week. In 6-on-6 situations, they've really been good. It's been the other situations that have caused problems, the unsettled situations or man-down situations.
Yeah, and that's obviously something that we're paying attention to, and we want to limit, especially the long, 2-minute non-releasable penalties, those types of plays, being smarter and in our physicality, and we've been working on that and coaching that up. We just got to keep drilling it and keep getting better in recognition. The unsettled, it's you couldn't have asked for a better barometer, facing a team like Virginia, 2 weeks ago, and then them creating the unsettles and giving us opportunity to play against that. But, overall, I thought we, against Drexel, did a decent job in the unsettled stuff. There were some plays where, we had to split a couple guys. We were down, 5-4, 5 of their guys against 4 of ours, and we're able to buy enough time to get even and play 6-on-6. And, yeah, we need to be successful in 6-on-6 both ends of the field, and that's kind of how we want to play.
We can't move away from this game without talking about Sam Marin. I mean, he had a hat trick with the long stick. Mm-hmm. How many career goals did you have?
In college?
At Hopkins, yes.
At Hopkins.
Just at Hopkins.
I don't know, maybe 1.
Maybe 1.
Yeah.
So he did 3 times you in 1 game.
That was awesome. It was great. And how did he score those goals? Overhand, high to low. Our offense did not do that. So Sam's going to teach our offensive guys how to shoot this week in practice.
He thought switching him to the attack with that long stick.
A little man-up opportunity, no doubt. I mean, we're looking for goals to be produced. He's doing it right now.
All right, this week the Tigers stay at home, noon, Johnny Unitas Stadium, to take on Fairfield. You lost 12-11. They won 12-11 against Hofstra, and they had the freshman this week, Will Consoli, who is the CAA Freshman of the Week. I believe he had 4 goals against Hofstra on Saturday. Fairfield's had kind of a rough start. They got it together this past week against the Pride. What do you see from them? I mean, they got 4 guys that have scored at least 15 goals.
Yeah, they're a strong group. Front to back, they'll play tough defense on you and be able to throw some different looks, whether it be man-to-man or zone looks. They'll 10-man you. Offensively, they're pretty dynamic. A couple really talented attackmen. I think McKenna was maybe the Rookie of the Year last year for them, and has also had a strong,
22 goals already.
Strong start to the season. So obviously you got to worry about him. And then they got more balance down there that kind of takes some attention away from them. But then their midfield is pretty dynamic, and they do a good job. Watching them play kind of reminds me of us a little bit, where they, the way they flow, the way they move, their kind of motion style offense, they do a good job of sharing the ball, creating different looks, in their drift play and pick action. They do some early offense stuff. So it's kind of familiar watching them play. Obviously, they have different guys doing it. So it's fun to prepare for.
They also, their roster seems to be young. They're not a real veteran team.
Yeah, they were, they were kind of young a couple years ago. So then they're starting to kind of come through. Those guys are now sophomores, juniors-ish the past couple of years. So you're seeing those guys, start to kind of come through and be producers for them.
Face-offs, they're only at about 47%. That's an area where it seems like Matt Constantinidis is getting stronger every week, an area you can take advantage of.
Yeah, we need Matt to continue to grow and mature there. He needs to be more poised at the X and patient on the whistle, something that we're continuing to work on with him. I think his confidence in his skill set and what he's capable of doing is there, and he knows what he can do, and it helps us. I mean, a big part of us going from 11-8 to tying that game against Drexel was Matt winning the faceoffs in that fourth quarter, creating opportunities, 5-on-5, transition opportunities to get Sam open for shots. And we need to continue to support them. They got a good guy at the X, but Matt needs to obviously continue to mature and stay strong to help us there. And when we get those possessions, we need to cash in on those. So if he's giving us an advantage, we need to cash in on those possessions offensively.
You're 0-1 in the conference. Obviously, more conference games this year, so it's not like you're in a desperate situation yet. But every game from here on out becomes magnified with that loss in the opening game, doesn't it?
Yeah, every game, in the CAA is huge, right? It's huge. So, yeah, you got to get out there. You got to put your best play out on the field, play as a team and work hard to earn a win. Obviously, losing the first one, it's a loss. It's a conference loss. It was an overtime loss. We got to be able to learn from that, flush it, and then, get ready for Fairfield, knowing that we have to play better. We have to understand what it takes for us to be more consistent, produce better, cleaner, smarter on the field, and, really focus on that this week in practice to, put us in position to earn a win against Fairfield.
How do you keep, I'm not going to say morale high, but how do you keep guys from getting down with this losing streak?
Just recognizing that we're not getting destroyed. We're in these games, which sometimes is even harder,
right.
to really do that with. But knowing that the guys believe in themselves, we're instilling, obviously, as a coaching staff, our belief in them, bringing to light areas that we're doing well, and then how we want to continue to work with that, and areas that we need to improve upon. This is a team, and this is part of the season that this team is going through. And throughout the season, sometimes you're flying high and you're playing great, and you might lose sight on how you can improve. Right now, we're kind of in the trenches, and we're trying to find that light, that's going to get us there. And we've identified it. We just have to do a much better job staying true to the fundamentals, sticking to what helps us be successful, and really executing that at a high level.
All right, well, the Tigers are going to try to snap the losing streak this Saturday at home, Johnny Unitas Stadium at 12 o'clock against Fairfield. We hope you will come on out. If you can't make it, Glenn Smith and I will have it on Flow Sports and TowsonTigers.com. So for the head coach of the Tigers, Sean Nadlin, I'm Spiro Marikas. Thanks for tuning in. We'll talk to you again next week.